He told me that there was some individuals within the community that felt unsafe and bothered, triggered, if you will, by our flag shirts.
Organizers told them their costumes offended some people. But why?
What we were told had to do with what was going on in Palestine and the LGBTQ community in America.
The dancers didn't understand.
There's no words.
Was there anything specific that they pointed out about the shirt that was offensive?
No.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about another story that is a good example of the insanity that is going on in this country because of the far left and how the liberal, loving, tolerant leftists aren't very liberal, and they aren't very loving, and they aren't very tolerant. And this story right here, again, is a great example of that, as we have to go out to Seattle, aka Woke Wonderland, or one of the woke wonderlands of this country, because there's a lot of controversy, some crazy controversy about how the organizers of the Emerald City Hoedown are facing backlash after a local line group was basically kicked out of the competition for wearing American flag shirts after woke LGBTQ activists got upset, right? They got triggered by the fact that this local line group by the name of Borderline Dance Team that, you know, some of the members are a part of the LGBTQ community. That's the irony here. Like, some of these members of this local dance team are in fact LGBTQ, but that didn't matter to the woke revolutionaries because they were triggered by their American flag shirts to the point where the organizers of the event, again, they're facing backlash because they asked the local line team that, hey, you know, these woke activists are triggered, right? This small group of people don't like your American flag shirts. Can you change your shirts, right? You have to change your shirts or you can't perform. Now, the group, the line team, they said, no, we're not going to change our shirts. We will go out on stage and we will get booed, and we will just allow the woke revolutionaries to be upset. And if they walk out and they boo, it is what it is. But we don't want to change our shirts. Okay. Which basically meant that they were effectively kicked out because they weren't allowed to perform unless they changed their American flag shirts, because their American flag shirts were deemed to be offensive.
It's this display of patriotism that Borderline Dance Group has come to be known for. Since they first started line dancing as volunteers 7 years ago.
It's very fun. The girls absolutely love it. It's very high energy.
But before their performance at the Emerald City Hoedown in downtown Seattle last weekend.
And he told me that there was some individuals within the community that felt unsafe and bothered, triggered, if you will, by our flag shirts.
Organizers told them their costumes offended some people. But why?
What we were told had to do with what was going on in Palestine and the LGBTQ community in America.
The dancers didn't understand.
There's no words.
Was there anything specific that they pointed out about the shirt that was offensive?
No.
Just flag themed.
I even asked them.
That a controversial comment was made by a team member that would have started contention?
I don't believe so, no.
No, we were all pretty much just sitting together in a group, just talking amongst ourselves.
They told me they don't even have any political affiliations.
We didn't hesitate to accept and perform for a community who really does value inclusivity, that was not also extended to us.
In a Facebook comment, the president of Rain Country Dance Association, Zia D. Cambier, says that no members of the Borderline Dance Team were asked to leave. She's hoping to clear up some misunderstandings. When I reached out for an interview, they declined, but they did send us this statement saying that we are in communication with those directly involved.
And they do extend their apologies, and we're in communication trying to figure out how we want to move forward with this.
The association's president says since last weekend's incident, they have received an extreme amount of online harassment and a violent threat. She says SPD called the threat credible. We reached out to SPD to confirm they are investigating.
Violence and harassment is not something that we condone towards any person or any group for any reason.
Police have not yet returned our request.
I will tell you, for the most part, this community was wonderful.
Maddie White, King 5 News.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay, guys, we live in a country where the American flag is offensive to a very small group of minorities. So therefore, you have this entity that's holding this competition saying, well, their feelings matters more than everybody else's feelings, right? And therefore, we're going to force you to change your outfit, right? We're going to force you to change your outfit. If you don't change your outfit, then you can't perform. And to the credit of this dance team, they did not perform, right? They said, hey, you know what? We're not going to change our shirts. We're going to wear our American flag outfits loudly and proudly. And if they boo, they boo. If they walk out, they walk out. Screw them. And shout out to them for that, right? Because that actually takes courage to say, you know what? We will risk being booed, okay? We will risk them shouting at us, saying all types of crazy stuff, getting triggered, walking out, hurting their feelings. We will risk that in order to loudly and proudly wear our American flag outfit, which again is something that, you know, hey, I think should be applauded. I really do, because I don't understand why we live in a country where the American flag, a symbol that represents everybody that lives in this country, is seen as some type of hate symbol, right? It is something that triggers people. It really blows my mind. I don't understand it. I really don't get it. Okay. I don't think I will ever understand or get it. Okay. But what you see here, once again, is what the left does when they can't get their way. Okay. When they're triggered, when they disagree with somebody's political opinions, what they do is that they start boohoo whining and crying. Okay. Trying to cancel the individuals. Okay. Trying to leverage their minority status to exert power over these individuals. And then they move to threats, right? Threats of violence, which, you know, hey, according to this news clip, the police found to be credible, which does not surprise me at all, because that's what these people do all the time. When they don't get their way, they resort to violent threats every single time. Every single time. Okay? The number one way to identify a leftist is if you disagree with them on some type of political topic. Do they threaten you, right? If they start to threaten you, then you know that they're a leftist, right? They're a flaming leftist, okay? Because leftism is intolerant, which again is funny because these people claim to be so tolerant, but they can't even tolerate the American flag. And it's funny because there are LGBTQ members of this group, of this dance team, that are, in my opinion, being discriminated against by other members of the LGBTQ community and the woke activists that are triggered by them wearing their American flag shirts. Again, none of this makes sense. But this is the world that we're living in, where we have these corporations capitulating to a very small minority of people in their feelings. Even though their feelings are irrational, they don't make sense. And, you know, they boohoo, whine, and cry about everything. For whatever reason, corporate America feels the need to bow down to these people and to do whatever they want, right? Just because their feelings are hurt. I really don't understand. I don't think I will ever understand it. But what I do know is that this country line dancing team should be celebrated. They should be supported during this time because they did the right thing. They said, hey, we're going to stand up for our beliefs. We're going to wear our costume. And if you don't like it, then it is what it is. And we just won't perform. We don't have to perform, but we're not going to capitulate to the mob. And this is how most people should react. This is how everybody should react, really, when it comes to the mob and their unreasonable demands. You don't like the American flag? Oh, well, boo-hoo, whine, and cry about it. It is the flag of this country. It is the symbol that represents everybody in this country. And if you don't feel represented by the American flag, if you don't feel like you are safe in this country or that this country likes you or accepts you, then, hey, you know, there are other places that you can go. You don't have to be here, okay? You don't have to be here. You don't have to live in a place where you feel like you're oppressed. That's what I don't understand about these individuals. They seem to have Stockholm syndrome, right? They're obsessed with their oppressors, right? They say we're so oppressed that we get triggered by the American flag, but yet you choose to continue to live in this country that you claim is oppressing you on the so-called stolen land, where the straight white Christian man is, again, oppressing you and causing you harm. But again, you won't move to any other part of the world where, you know, hey, maybe you won't feel so oppressed. And the reason why they won't do it is because they know that in America, this is probably one of the most LGBTQ friendly places on earth, right? Especially compared to places like Africa, the Middle East, Asia, etc. Okay, you know, there are not many other places on earth where you're going to have all the same rights and privileges that these people have in this country. Maybe some places in Europe. But, I mean, for whatever reason, they won't even go there. They just want to stay here, and that's fine. But if you're going to stay here, you can't try to exert power over the majority and try to say that, no, you can't show the American flag. You can't perform the American flag costume because we're triggered by it. That's not how it works. You're asking for tolerance. You're asking to be included. So you have to extend that grace to the people that you're asking to extend that grace to you. That's how it works. Okay? That's how it works. But again, a lot of these people don't want equal treatment. They don't want equal rights. They want special rights and special treatment. And this is just another example of what I'm talking about. So, hey, shout out to this dance team for not folding to the mob. A lot of people would have folded to the mob. They would have said, oh, no, they're triggered. Let me change my shirt, so that we can perform. And I'm glad they didn't do it. So, shout out to them for that. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.